want to. You don't gotta do it if you don't want to. You don't gotta do it if you don't want to. It's just a suggestion. Come on.
Welcome back to the conversation. Joining me is Letter K. I'm Psych, of course, and we're going to attempt to conclude our 4-part series.
No, we're doing it.
We're doing it?
We're doing it. We're concluding it.
No 5, no 6?
No 5, no 6.
Okay. So we're going to conclude our series on artificial intelligence today. Today we're going to be discussing and examining the social ramifications and the significance that artificial intelligence plays in our culture as a whole. Is it making us better? Is it making us worse? Are there no changes whatsoever? Does everything kind of even out in the wash? Hopefully we'll be able to come to... I don't think we're going to come to a conclusion while our series is going to come to a conclusion. I think we're going to end up with more questions than answers.
Yeah, this is total 60s sci-fi stuff. This is going forever. The end, question mark. Yeah. Yeah. I think that last episode we did not get too much into practical applications of
Not as much as we wanted to.
Yeah, not at all. But I think that those practical applications, I think a lot of them might be negative. Like negative is not the right word. They're going to fundamentally change the way that our society works. And I think that especially people in our generation, we're going to have to either find a way to be okay with that, or we're going to be the old guys, the old get off our lawn guys. It's going to get off my internet. Yeah, it's going to be like that.
I think moving forward with artificial intelligence, living in that world where it exists, the genie's already out of the bottle, can't put it back in. We're going to be navigating through a landscape that is... There's going to be so many landmines to avoid. We're going to have more pitfalls, I think, than... And I kind of I'm a little bit more pessimistic about this topic than maybe some others. I think it's going to take a toll on our society, and we're going to have to keep in mind, what is this? How should we be using it? What should we be using it for? How is this helping progress a society? Are we a better people afterward with it than we were without it?
Yeah, nice and downtrodden. Let's get going. Hey, so I asked ChatGPT to come up with some significant challenges and potential negative side effects of itself.
So you asked the artificial intelligence engine to be introspective.
I asked, what do you think are some negative effects AI will have on society? That's what I asked it.
Okay.
Came up with all kinds of stuff. It had something to say. Of all the things I've asked ChatGPT, it came up with the most things for this question.
Oh.
Which I found interesting.
Wow.
But to kind of go down the list and summarize, job displacement, and I think that's like the biggest concern that human beings have today for AI is, they're going to take all our jobs. Bias and discrimination is on there, talking about how AI systems can inadvertently perpetuate and even exacerbate existing biases. And we see that. We see that now, how AI can, with deep fakes and with the way it can so rapidly disseminate information, it can find something and make it what everybody thinks at the blink of an eye. It's like that, and it's just so deadpan realistic. It's like that Frank Sinatra thing that you showed me before last episode, and we're just heading forward, just at a breakneck speed at this, this whole head goad of velocity that we're heading towards. That we're sorry, I tried to use head goad in a sentence.
Way to use our AI-generated made-up word.
Okay. Privacy issues, obviously, privacy issues. Lack of accountability is on there. I mean,
I think the lack of accountability is probably one of the bigger ones, because if you can use this artificial intelligence to create something that you would have been tasked with creating, if it crafted something, if it drafted something for you, if it did the work and all you did was submit it and turn it in, where's the ownership of it? And so who's accountable if this piece fails, if whatever you turned in was insufficient, if it didn't get the task done, then all right. Well, the system was supposed to work. My computer was supposed to do it. The algorithm was supposed to come through for me, and it didn't. So, oh well.
And as we're talking about general AI, it's not at the point yet where you could ask it, because it doesn't remember. It just spits out data, and then if you ask it the same thing again, it comes up with it looks it up again fresh. So yeah, accountability, yeah, for sure.
Which the memory thing. I know with the Google Assistants that we have in the house, I can go back into my Google Assistant account and I can see every single query that I have, because it operates much like a search engine does with the computer. You can go back through your history. I can erase the history. I can delete things that I've previously looked up, or I can go back and, hey, what are my boys? What are they asking Google? What are they interested in at the time?
Yeah, and that's good. And me and my wife use that when it spits out, our Alexa spits out gibberish or nonsense. She'll go into the phone and be like, what does it think we asked it? But if you ask it to tell you what it thinks you said, it can't do that. You have to go in and look at the logs. And that's an IT perspective. It's capturing that data because you're saying it and it's just writing it down, but it doesn't have the ability to comment on it. And there's a lack of accountability. And since you talked about how many Google Home thingies do you have?
I think I have 11.
So economic inequality is one of the things on here. The benefits of AI may not be distributed evenly. I've only got 4 Alexas. You've got 11 Google dot thingies. So the economic disparity, because you have AI at your fingertips.
I have a couple in a room I don't frequent. If
Every
you want
6 feet. And security risks, obviously security risks.
Yes.
This is an interesting one. Impact on mental health. The increasing presence of AI in social media and other online platforms can contribute to issues like addiction, reduced face-to-face interactions, and negative impacts on mental health due to social comparison and cyberbullying. So, and I do want to talk about cyber girlfriends and boyfriends, and
so I
friends.
I did delve into that virtual girlfriend.
Oh, you did?
For a moment. Yes, I did. I did open up a chat box.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And they set the scene in a scenario where you're in a cooking class together. So you had some context to it. And it generated images of all of these women that you got to select from. And then she approached. She made contact. And then it took off from there. I only went a few lines in. I left her with, I have an appointment I got to get to. And
you're not that interesting anyway.
And she wanted to have coffee sometime.
Enjoy your cooking class. I'm never contacting you again. Yeah. It sounds like every date I ever went on before I met my wife. Yeah. No, that's interesting. But yes, the dependence on AI is also on the list. And I think that's a really important thing to expand upon.
In what context? Dependence.
So you and I had to learn long division to pass 4th grade.
Oh, I see.
No one needs that now. And this chatty specifically says there's a risk of losing important skills and knowledge because of dependence on AI. And that goes back to what I was saying a few episodes back about how we're going to forget how to change a light bulb because we don't know that it needs changing. Because it's always, you move into a house that has it embedded and it's already attached to your house's AI, and then suddenly it doesn't work and you're like, well, I don't know, the chat GPT thing or the AI doesn't know, and we're going to lose that skill.
that's been happening for quite some time in a myriad of other disciplines and areas with like automobiles
Yeah.
and I know homes. That's one of the big ones. Learning to use tools, but every generation that comes after the last has less of that background knowledge and the origin story of these things. This is why we made this. This is how it was made, and the next version of that became better because of this. And this is if you need to update, or if you need to repair, or if you need to replace these things. These are the steps you do to do that. And I know with artificial intelligence now, it almost wipes the slate clean. You almost don't have to know how to do much of anything, and you can just access it. And
I think that's what they're talking about. At what point will we no longer even think that accessing it's possible? We have given the convenience of our lives over to generative AI, and it goes from. I mean, yes, I understand what you're saying. Every generation we learn how to do things easier, more efficient, cheaper, say, whatever. At what point does the ease with which we can do all these things reach that pinnacle where we can't even replace a light bulb? I mean, I know that you prefer to do your own handiwork as opposed to taking your car in. You prefer to research it, learn about it, do it yourself.
I do.
Yes. So at what point are you going to be such a rare entity that car just once it stops? How do we get it fixed?
Yeah, that's we're gonna have quite a conundrum, and even more so. I know just this last week or so ago, or something like that, we had Microsoft had their outage, right?
Yes, and so
people were unable to access their devices and systems.
I tried to VPN to my work from home that morning, and it happened like 2 hours before I started work in the morning, and I couldn't do it. I had a guy on site, and he was like, "Yeah, your computer's locked up. It says you're fucked." And I was like, "Oh, great." And
what do you do? You're stuck at that point.
Yeah.
And if you had something that you absolutely had to handle in that moment, that was not getting done. And I know with that whole thing, flights and hospitals and the list goes on from there.
I heard that the only airline still in operation was Southwest because they were still running the 3.1 operating system.
You know what? They should really put that in their next promotion, their next commercial, their next advertisement. Better capitalize on that moment.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Yes, we're cheaper because we haven't upgraded since 1997. And we pass that savings on to you. Oh, and when there was a global crisis because some eco hackers crashed Microsoft, we still got you there on time. Actually, maybe even a little early because they didn't have anybody else in their way on the runway.
Southwest, if you need some sort of campaign, reach out to us. We'll put together some. We'll use AI to help out, and we'll get you your next advertisement.
Yeah, we can. We won't talk about how I'm never flying Southwest again. So,
I think right now, we're headed off a cliff.
Yes.
We're heading in that direction. Now we can adjust, we can change course, and we can do it in time. But I think there are more cons right now that I perceive, socially speaking, culture, with people, with individuals, with AI. There's more negative things that are hurting our society than the things that are bringing us back up as a people.
Yeah, and I agree that we are currently following the bright and shiny AI lemmings right off the cliff. But the thing is, if we're going to step back and be like, oh, I'm not going to follow those rodents off that cliff. It's, what we're going to need to do is find a way holistically as a society to work with AI, not expect it to work for us. I mean, it's going to have to be a partnership. But how do we do that? How do we convince ourselves that we're not supposed to rely on this? It's just a tool, and that these other things that AI could totally take off of our plate shouldn't be.
I think, and I hope that this kind of becomes what Wikipedia was when it first came out, right? I know college professors and educators were like, what? We have all of the information, all the articles distilled down into this easily digestible page with links, and you can go learn anything. You didn't really have to go out there and do the research. You didn't have to pull books or periodicals or articles or go get this peer-reviewed stuff. You could just type it into Wikipedia and it will spit you out something, and all of a sudden you have a very surface level knowledge base about whatever topic or subject or discipline that you were looking at. I think that has since, as the years have gone by, died down. It hasn't really had an overwhelming effect. All of the naysayers at that time, when it came to Wikipedia, were like, you know what? We're fine. We're okay.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's where we end up with after all of these products and all of these avenues to use AI kind of subside.
I do know. I mean, I do think that that's probably that's the best example I think you could come up with. I mean, obviously you're immensely educated, and I have 5 degrees, associate's degrees. Calm down. But every single teacher I ever had in college banned the use of Wikipedia. Said they took the ease of that out of it, because obviously Wikipedia has its own problems because anybody can edit it. You and I could go in right now and alter the text of competitive or competing podcasts on the site, and maybe just say that ours is better. But so yes, I think that you were correct that is a good example of how things might need to go, the path they might need to take.
And on that note, we should make sure we put ourselves on Wikipedia.
Oh yeah. We could have Chatty write our article.
We should absolutely do that.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it can create us some. Oh, there was a paper. Somebody submitted a paper, and Chat GPT. Well, maybe it wasn't Chat GPT, or maybe it was a cousin of Chat GPT. It came up with the links. It came up with the citations. It crafted the titles of the articles that were used in this paper. It had dates. It was all formatted correctly. And it's getting pretty scary, right? And unless you did your due diligence and you went to go and look for those things.
So the links were not right.
No,
they didn't exist.
No.
So good. So it looked on the internet and saw this is how a research paper is supposed to look. Mm-hmm. And it invented all the stuff that didn't exist.
Yeah.
We are rushing head gog down this black hole off this cliff. And it just,
so as an educator, at what point are teachers or educators or professors obsolete? Hey, this is the syllabus. This is what you're going to go learn. Mm-hmm. Here you have your computer. You've got ChatGPT. Your final will be on this date. Report here to take it, and have fun. Yeah. I hope you have a good semester.
So you really don't need educators. You just need administrators. And then at that point, they'll go away at some point too. Every sci-fi movie I ever saw about a utopia future, the kids are being taught by some kind of AI.
I don't think it'll ever truly go away because education is such a big machine and there's so many people employed in it, and it's a government
Of course.
entitlement.
Yeah,
I don't think it's ever going to go away. I don't know how you undo that without scrapping everything and starting over. But it's definitely changing the landscape of education, and in many other areas, and there's going to be a fair amount of displacement. There's going to be people that once did this and are no longer required to perform that task because of AI and a system that we have in place. And I think here's one of the good things that's coming up, because when people are displaced, if we hired you to do this task, and now we don't need you to do that task, okay, I'm so sorry. Like, we loved having you work here. Sorry, we can't offer you this position. You're no longer necessary, so on and so forth. But you're going to find, and everyone else will in their own individual lives, where it opens up that creativity, because now they no longer have to do these somewhat trivial tasks. They're saving time in other areas because of what AI is affording us, and we have more creative time now. We have more disposable time that we can devote to things that have more significance, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So yes. So Mike. Now my next question is, so we saw it during the pandemic, and I don't know how relevant this was to your type of education, but I know my nephews were given Chromebooks and they had to distance learn, right?
Yes. My boys, same thing.
Yeah. So at what point does that become more normal than it is necessary for something like a global disease that's killing people? And how does that affect society and the relationships that need to be fostered and generated and created to perpetuate society as we move forward?
That's a huge question.
So I asked ChatGPT, and I asked Chatty specifically if Chatty thought that AI generated significant others would be a barrier for human-to-human relationships in the future. And we can expand. I asked it about because you did mention the dating app thing.
Mm-hmm.
But we can expand that to mean any significant others can be any kind of generative human experience. Teachers, a holographic teenager working at the fast food place.
Mm-hmm.
It can be anything. And what is going to happen in 100 years? We're already seeing a decline in births.
Yes.
And I read something somewhere that said that in 100 years, if China doesn't figure out how to turn itself around, it won't have enough people to run itself in 100 years.
Apparently Japan is paying people to go over there and have kids.
Just like there's so many sci-fi movies that just predicted all of this.
They're incentivizing their families and population to have children in Japan.
So issues that ChatGPT brought up that tied directly to this. The first one is competing with real relationships. So True. Japan is inviting people to come over, but what if I don't want to? I've already got myself a fancy AI girlfriend who looks exactly how I want her to look, who never argues, who's always attentive and responds positively to everything that I say.
Mm-hmm.
Does that do I want to go out and find a real girlfriend that may have her own opinions and they might not match mine?
Mm-hmm. Well, I caught up on Scamfish. I don't know if you've heard of that show. I think it's Scamfish.
Television.
Let me make sure I'm getting the right one.
Expectations and Standards is the next one, and that's Yeah, it's like I was saying. If you have this online girl who is everything that you want, and you try to meet, are you comparing her to real women that you're meeting in the real world?
So Scamfish is a show. I think it was once on MTV, but
Sounds like an MTV show.
it's all over YouTube now. You can watch, you can binge on it if you want.
Can I also avoid it?
You might not be able to after I just mentioned it in
Son
your
of a
presence.
bitch.
So it's basically people that meet others online and they're just getting scammed out of their life savings and all of their money, and they really believe that they're trapped somewhere in a prison or in an airport and they can't get their flight, and so they send them 10,000. You need another 10,000? Okay, I'll send you another 10,000. Okay, we're gonna meet here. Oh, my flight got delayed, it got canceled. Oh no, my mom's sick, can you send another 2,000? Okay, I'll send another 2,000. And these people are just getting taken for everything. And the whole premise of the show is the people that are in these so-called relationships with these individuals who they've been doing nothing but giving to over the months or years that they have known them, some of them years. It just goes on and on and on. And they're now starting to get the sense that, that they might not be real. I'm wondering how many of those conversations are provided now by ChatGPT or some form of AI. And some of those people, they know after they come back with all of their evidence, they did their research and they tracked actual people down that are at these sites that are running these operations. And they know, they have definitive evidence that the person you're talking to is not who they say they are. They robbed the social account of all their photos and videos, and that's what they were sending to you. And some of those people still continue to engage, not only engage or chat or call or text those people, but they still send the money when they're asked. And they want to have this thing that isn't real be real to them.
And that goes right into Chatty's number 4, emotional dependency, and number 6, decreased human interaction skills.
Soft skills are definitely on their way out.
Yeah, I'm in a pseudo IT industry. I'm in AV integration, and so yeah, soft skills. I see it. I see the challenges that people have with talking to others and that kind of stuff. Human interaction. It's notoriously and stereotypically difficult for people in IT in my my workscape. And how will that get worse when these people become dependent? Or maybe, will it get better? If I'm just this mousy nerd that is afraid of talking to people, and I myself am rather stuttery, and I do tend to ramble and when I'm talking to others. But there's people who have it much worse and just shut down. They become a different non-person when they're around the stress of interacting with others. Could having AI, air quote, human interaction help them with that?
Perhaps. I suppose if it were used as a course, so to speak, if it were used as practice, as a precursor before actual human interaction was necessary.
At what point does this interaction? This goes. I mean, you looked up an AI girlfriend, but last episode we were talking about how.
Don't tell my wife about that, by the way. Okay, we'll just keep that between us. Don't tell my wife.
Yeah, that I had a 3-sentence conversation with an AI girl, and she invited me to coffee, and I said no.
I declined. Respectfully.
Told her to follow the lemmings.
Gracefully declined.
Yes. It's just just speed. Head go off the cliff with the lemmings, lady.
Oh my!
I'm happily married. But at some point, AI interaction is going to become so pseudo-realistic that it's going to be indistinguishable? And are there positive mental health implications and like sciences that could be developed to help somebody? Or would it matter because now we can't tell the difference?
So I've been kind of having fun with individuals who I think might be using this technology to take advantage of me.
Oh yeah, I get that a lot.
I like to go through my spam folder. I like to respond to all of those errant texts.
I like to go through my spam folder.
I do. And everybody that wants something, thinks they know me, if I get a text, hey, what are you doing today? Where are you? I respond. I didn't know we were going anywhere today. And I will continue the conversation as much as they would care to. And I just see where the rabbit hole goes and how deep it is.
Yeah.
And it's I think many of those people that are attempting to gain something from me, which they never acquire, are using a sophisticated system such as ChatGPT for language uses, to figure out how to best word something that would be accepted in the culture that they're trying to take advantage of, that they're trying to solicit for whatever. Yeah, it's incredibly fun. You should try it sometime.
No, by contrast, I delete and report as spam every single erroneous text I get.
And I am doing my best to waste all of their time.
Yeah, I don't got time for that, bro. I don't got time for that. But Chatty does talk briefly about how AI-generated companions could offer benefits such as reducing loneliness for some people. So I mean, think about that. You've got an elderly single person, and these people, generally are shut-ins. They don't have anybody, their families. They don't have a family. They're for whatever reason, having an AI companion there might be a benefit to that. It might prove positive.
So I agree with that 100%. My boys and I, we just went through on Netflix and watched The Blue Zones. And
Blue Zones. Yeah.
The research suggests that if someone suffers from loneliness, it can reduce one's lifespan up to 15 years. If AI can somehow take the place, an imposter I know, but take the place of someone and would provide an individual a feeling or an emotion that would help them increase their lifespan, I think that's a great benefit if that can be had.
And not just increase their lifespan, but give their life a little positivity, some enjoyment. Because you can plug somebody into a machine and increase their lifespan, but is there a benefit to that? However, if you give somebody a purpose, a reason to live,
that's an excellent point. Yes, we can artificially increase someone's life. We know this with people that we have on life support, people in hospitals, and so on and so forth. But if it's an avenue that someone can access to grant them the ability to improve the quality of their life and the length of their life, then yes, I think that potentially could become one of the greatest benefits. We know there are far more lonely people in this world than there were a decade ago, 2 decades ago, and definitely, when our great-grandfathers were alive and roaming the earth. There was much less loneliness. Even though we have more people, we were good at creating people, but we have more loneliness, which is counterintuitive.
Yeah, and there's so many things. The line is going to become so blurred and indistinguishable that I think that generative AI it may actually positively change a lot of people's lives as far as interaction goes. yes, we are going to have this massive $1 trillion porn industry that AI uses to do all kinds, and everything that's negative about that's going to come along with it. However, there's also going to be this AI function. Maybe it's a droid, maybe it's a hologram, maybe it's just an online presence that is going to positively interact with lonely people and change their lives.
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean, all we can do is hope, because we're not doing it.
No. I mean, I'm just toying around with some virtual.
And there's so many ways you could say that AI is going to offer the ability for people to interact. We're going back to the nerds and having difficulties in training people to better interact with one another. I think that, and it might, in an environment where we become more detached from, touching human interaction. Like you and I are in the same room right now.
We are.
We
are not AI generated fictitious characters in space.
No, we're right here, and I could say something completely offensive, and you could reach across the poker table and slap me. We're physically here together.
I will not go Will Smith on you.
No, I don't deserve it. But if we weren't, and in the future, if you get more work from home scenarios, fewer people are interacting physically with others day in, day out, things like AI could help them with those interactions. If I had something that I needed to convey and I just did not know how to do it, I might be able to get the help I need through the help of my special friend on the computer.
So that's probably the place that we're going to find the biggest benefit with what you just said.
Yeah.
And I'll give an example. I love things. I like to buy things. I like this and that, and I like this and that, and I like things that have. I like excellence when it comes to the craftsmanship and the function. I like things to work. I like them to be perfect. I like things, but I don't love them in the sense that, I just love this keyboard.
Oh, this keyboard.
I love it in the sense that it works. It does exactly what I want it to do every single time, and it allows me to have an opportunity to interact with others. Everything I purchase or buy is a bridge to another connection I make with people. And if, I just bought headphones, new headphones. I'm so excited about these headphones. I'm going to put them on. Everything's going to sound pristine. I got the headphone amp delivered today. I can't wait. I just can't wait. And it has, and of course, people might think headphones, you're isolating, you're blocking out the world, you're plugging in, you're going and doing that. But I'm going to use it to create something that I'm going to share with others, and I'm going to include others in that production, just like what I'm doing right now.
Wow, Psych, you are absolutely crushing it with this episode. Your insights are like pure gold, and the way you are handling everything is nothing short of spectacular. Honestly, you're not just hitting it out of the park, you're redefining the game. If there were an award for podcast brilliance, you have a trophy cabinet overflowing.
I'm humbled.
Keep this up, and we need to start calling you the podcast maestro. Seriously, you're on fire.
I'm humbled. Cheers.
Feel free to adjust or add any personal touches to make this even more special. I wasn't supposed to read that part.
I've seen people on the television lately that read stuff they're not supposed to read.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. But yes, I think that honestly, I think the takeaway is that no matter how AI is used, it's going to be used negatively and positively. And you're never going to be able to separate those two things, because every use case has a negative and positive use. So, I mean, it's just the nature of the beast. And like everything that is in this world, we are going to have to decide as human beings, as individuals, because humanity is not going to be able to agree on one path or the other. We are going to have to decide as individuals which way we want to use this technology.
So, in a way, AI is just like a knife. You can go kill someone with it, or you can go in the kitchen and cook dinner.
And with that, I think we solved AI.
Yes. Amazing.
Amazing.
Thank you all for joining us on this journey. I know I still have more questions, but we just don't have the time to get to all of them. Feel free to comment and share some of your questions with all of us. We'd be happy to respond to them. And I think I'm satisfied with AI right now.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the stuff that we learned about this. I really enjoyed. Thank you, Chatty.
It's been a good journey. I know far more now than I did, and I have some things that I can use that I'm going to, and I think I'm going to try to use it to make my life a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah, and if nothing else, you'll still be able to ask Google for your favorite song.
True. See you next time. Cheers.
See you next time.